Hello YouTube, welcome to a new Marvel Snap Zone Premium Coaching. We actually have a lot of people missing today because family stuff got in the way. So hello everyone that's catching up. We're not forgetting you, and hopefully you'll be in the next one. Today we're going to talk about something that I think is absolutely crucial in this new metagame, is the cost of changing or adapting your deck. So if we have to talk a little bit about the current metagame, the patch really put the emphasis on points, which led to disruptive decks to be much more aggressive in the way they do things. Currently, the two best disruptive decks, at least according to the data, is the Zemo mill deck, which is like the Yondu, Spider-Ham, Gladiator, Zemo, these kind of things that try to empty the opponent's deck as fast as possible. And the junk deck, which tries to clog their space as fast. The problem with those decks is the fact that because they're so aggressive and they actually do such a good job, games never get to the end of it, because by turn 4 or 5, your opponent knows exactly if they have a shot or not. The thing is, in Marvel Snap, the best way to actually win cubes is to get to the end of the game, because the last turn is worth double. Like, if both players accept playing the last turn, the stakes double. But if you're playing a deck that kills the match before that point, you basically are never doubling the stakes, which means you're playing for 1, 2, or 4 instead of playing for 2, 4, or 8. And that's a big problem. So, in order to solve that problem, there are two ways to do it. You can either take a proactive deck and try to include tech cards. So this way you look like a deck that gives his opponent a chance to get to the end of it, but you punish them. Or you play a disruptive deck, but you actually include points. So you're not as aggressive, but you try to maintain your chances of winning the match. Means we have to adapt our deck. The problem is we're in an extremely synergistic metagame. Like, the decks, they all want to do something extremely well. And when you want to do something extremely well, you have to commit. You have to build your deck in that direction and invest possibly all the cards in that direction to make sure you're as good at doing this thing as possible. And suddenly, we're telling you, you're too good, this is costing you cubes. But how do we change this? This is what we're going to talk about today, the cost of adapting your deck. So, first, do we need a little brief on the current metagame, or has everyone read the ranked tier list, or knows the current metagame, basically? Oh,
I've seen a lot of very few decks, like a lot of Red Skull, a lot of I'm seeing a lot of Shane Absorbing Man counters. I don't really feel like I'm seeing a consistent dominant deck.
There isn't currently. First, things are still changing. The first few days were a lot of Hela, Mr. Negative, super high potential decks. They got not countered, but they were adapted against. Like, Mobius has started to come back, and more than anything, the Zemo mill deck is really good against both, because if you remove Hela from the deck, you just kind of kill the deck. And against Mr. Negative, you just wait until they use Mr. Negative and you mill their deck afterwards.
Yeah.
So these two were not so much of a problem, but we're still in a very points-focused metagame. Like, if we look at most tier lists, disruptive decks are doing really well in Conquest, because you just can't get out of it. But in the ranked mode, like, decks that are tier 1 in Conquest are tier 3 in the ranked mode, because they have this problem of they cannot get to the end of a game, so they cannot get enough cubes. So if you're playing in ranked, Hela is really, really good. Destroy is really good. Discard is doing well. Basically, all these decks that are trying to be proactive. Let's say it this way. So I'll start the thinking process, and then it's up to you. All right. So first, what can we change in a deck? So of course we can
I'm
change.
so happy I didn't miss the mind map.
Of course, you're never gonna miss the mind map. I'll wait. I'll do a 2 hours mind map just until you show up.
Thank you.
So, of course, what we're gonna change is cards. But when we take out a card to put another one, we can affect several things. We can affect our synergies. We can affect our curve. We can affect our reliability. And we can affect our power. This way. Power and reactive power. Problem. Does anyone see another category that can be impacted when changing a card in the deck?
Are we talking only about trade-offs internal to your deck? Because there could also be you accidentally make yourself more vulnerable to other decks in the meta, right?
Very true.
Yes.
Maybe the cost cards.
Sorry, I couldn't catch the phone.
Right.
Could you
Yeah, maybe like change, maybe like the cost of the card change, so like the order of the cards will be more like
No.
important.
That's what we call curve.
Okay.
So curving means using your energy turn after turn. Oh no, it's. You can actually do it here. So basically, when you play a deck, you use it like this, and you would imagine that you have like. You would like there's turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, 4, 5, 6. And the reason why we call it a curve, it's because you have good turns. Like for example, your deck is gonna peak, I don't know, around turn 3, 4, 5, and then you have a reactive 6. So this would be the curve of your deck. It also depends the cards that are in a game. I don't know if you ever played like another game, like Hearthstone shows it. I know Runeterra showed it. It's like when your deck is done, they show you like how many 1 cost, how many 2 cost, how many 3 cost, etc. that you have. It actually forms a curve. That's why we call it a curve, is the spread of your cards in the deck. Which turns you're more likely to have an option compared to others. Alright. Are we good with all these categories, or did I miss one?
I think we're good.
Alright. So, currently, synergy clearly are the big emphasis. I mean, Hela forces you to play a certain way. Mr. Negative forces you to play a certain way. Even the most flexible decks, you need to have like 4 to 6 cards that work together. I mean, Angela, Kitty, Hope Summers, and Elsa. At first, it was a 4 cards package. Now they almost always play Jeff. And you can't really slot one of those. Like you can slot Jeff, but not that many people are just playing Jeff or just being a great card anymore. So the first thing is when you change a card in your deck, you're necessarily impacting either your core synergy or your flexible synergy. All right, let's see for the curve. So what does it change for the curve when we change a card? Oh, I can go the other way. Oh, I can.
You have cards that compete for the same spot, or
Yes.
you can leave yourself, with wasted energy.
Exactly. So, okay. Ah. Uh, I don't know how to phrase it simply. Hmm. Does it make sense if I say it this way? Does everyone understand what that would mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say like the cards can't be played or it's inefficient to play.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's really about efficiency, right? Like 3
Yes.
2s versus, you know.
Much better this way. I couldn't find the dead card. This kind of touches to reliability, but I guess reliability speaks for itself. If we start touching the core of the deck, or we end up with dead cards, our deck is going to be less reliable, meaning we can either develop less points, or I guess. What else can happen if we touch reliability? We could have less points, or points. What else?
We could incur some decision paralysis because we don't know the obvious play lines anymore. So we're it's more mentally expensive to play the deck,
Okay.
and so our piloting becomes less reliable.
Okay.
So it's not the deck is less reliable; we are.
I'll say it this way.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a big one in reliability that impacts the core mechanic of the game.
Snapping?
Yes. What happens if you're not as reliable?
You can't snap
don't-
confidently.
You snap less
Or
often
early.
or early.
Yeah.
It gets harder to snap, and it's also easier to get snapped. Because most of the time, if a deck plays 1, 2, 3 and the other one passes 1, 2, 3, the one that played it's probably gonna snap. And the other one is probably gonna leave unless they have a deck that can afford to spend 3 turns and do nothing. Actually, I'm gonna put reactive power and developing power together. Alright, matchups. What can happen if we touch our matchups?
Well, you can either expose yourself to a counter card, or you can lose the counter card that would have been effective.
Okay, but what happens in terms of matchups? Like, what is our efficiency toward matchups? How can it be affected?
So I mean, you could obviously decrease your win or your overall win efficiency because now, let's say, if you can't beat Destroy now and Destroy is prominent, you're going to lose more often than you were winning. So you can actually deplete your whole, make your deck, just destroy your deck, so to speak, or just start the playability of your deck.
All right, so we can cover less opponents, but more opponents.
Either one.
I can't. All right, we cover fewer opponents, There's another one. It's a really, like, it's mostly for conquest.
Oh, you can make your deck more predictable.
Wait, you can be more predictable, but you can cover fewer opponents, or you can be worse against certain ones.
Oh, like a mirror match.
Yeah, for example.
Yeah.
But like every matchup basically is based on percentages. Like most of the time we say this deck has X percentage against another deck. In Marvel Snap we don't really say it because changing one card impacts a matchup so much that obviously it's hard to talk about like just archetype matchup. But because you can change a matchup so much by changing a card, sometimes you make it better, but you can also make it worse. So you can either have a fewer amount of good opponents, or you can have some that are worse. Like, let's say you have a deck that has a 5-5 spread. There's 10 decks in the meta. You're good against 5, bad against 5. You make a change. You're still good against 5, bad against 5. But the 5 you were bad against, you're worst against now.
Mm.
Alright. Well, I guess developing and reactive power are kind of touched in the reliability and the curve. So maybe we're just gonna remove those as they'll be in other sections. Alright. So this is where we at now. Now the question is, we only looked at the bad things. So now what we need to find is the reasons of adapting our deck that would tell us it is worth it to make the sacrifice.
Well, I'll tell you a major one right away. Information asymmetry. They think they know what you're playing. You actually have a surprise in there.
Big one, yes.
And it's specifically an asymmetry because as you see them reacting or snapping, you start to gain information on what they think the matchup looks like to them, whether or not they are holding a counter card, etc. So watching them react to your expected deck gives you information on how your modified version will actually fare.
I'm going to take a picture of the cost, then we'll work. All right. Got this. Have the picture channel. Anyone wants to look at the cost. So, sorry, Silvermint.
Yep.
So, what were you saying about information asymmetry?
Well, so obviously, one huge advantage is they think they know your deck because you're playing some of the expected early cards, but they don't actually. And then as they either snap or just continue to stay in the game, you're learning about what they think they can do with your deck. So, do they think it's a good matchup for them or not? And that lets you know how good your modified version might be against them. So it's not just that you have a surprise in there, it's that you, just by watching them play, are gaining more information about their deck and how confident they are in. So you actually have two asymmetries in your advantage.
So,
Or in your favor.
one is they don't necessarily know what you're playing, and the second one is you know what they're playing?
Yeah, so one is the surprise. They think they've got your deck, they don't. The other advantage is based on their snapping or just staying in, you have a sense because here's the thing. You don't just know the deck they think you are playing and you're watching them play against what they think that deck is. Because you've got both of those pieces of information, you can learn about how the matchup is faring for them in their mind, and then you can gain insight into their deck.
Alright, love it. Okay, so we got information asymmetry. What other reasons do we have to adapt our deck? The biggest one, the simplest one. Bishop, you should already have yelled it.
Because you
We're
want
losing.
Quake in there.
Yeah, that's the reason. Like, what's the
No,
category of this?
You're losing. You're just not winning anymore.
Or just to interest yourself, to have fun, to tinker, to innovate, to see what's possible.
No, I think those are good ideas, but I think the biggest one people want to change their deck is because they're not winning. They're just not winning. If you're winning, you're like, this is great.
No, we can be more specific then. There's a specific matchup you're struggling against.
It was this one. You want to fit your playstyle.
Oh, that's true.
Tell us one word. Okay. So we had the gather information. And
I didn't like playing discard, so I took Hela out and put Quake in, and I wasn't winning as much anymore. I don't know what happened there.
you bet. I'll sum up you're losing to the metagame. So this one is simple. Is just set it. Right? Metagame changed. So I'm trying to sum up what you said in the last 2.
Yeah.
All right. Are we good with this? We're not going into too much details, but these are like the main reasons, and we can put them in contrast with why would you adapt your deck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're actually gonna do it. So I know some of you will remember, but if some joined like recently, is everyone cool with the concept of the core part of a deck, the flexible part, the tech part, and what are like power plays, what are power turns, these kind of things?
I was like almost, gosh, I must have done it last summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
Everyone is good with those concepts?
I'm good with them. I know we have some newer folks, but
They're not always easy to apply, but I understand the concepts.
Right. I'll take a picture of this so we'll have it. And we'll start doing it. Tonight, we're playing Doctor. Bishop can feel at work.
you're gonna force them to get that paycheck.
Exactly.
Officially, I'm out of the stairwell now. It's
Ooh,
over.
nice. They give you an office to play Snap?
No. I'm back in the US, so.
Okay. So I'm just gonna take
Back
the
on
tier
Sunday.
list, and we're gonna assume this is not true, but we're gonna assume tier 1 decks are the decks to beat, and tier 3 decks are struggling. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So who wants to do it with discard? Nobody wants discard. All right.
I can try
No,
Who wants?
we literally discarded it.
That's
I
all right.
can
We
do
have
it.
multiple choices. Who wants Thanos?
I'll do the discard if you want, Dan.
I don't mind. It's the deck we pick really doesn't matter. Who wants Zemo Mill?
Wants
I
it
can
for
do
what?
Zemo.
What are we doing?
Oh, you're gonna
We're
have
gonna go
to.
over the power plays and
You're gonna have to doctor the deck. You're gonna have to break it down and understand why would you want to change it and the cost of the changes that you want to make.
Okay.
I'll do Zemo Mill. I'll do
Okay.
Mill.
All right.
I've been playing version the bounce. So.
Anyone wants Toxic Surfer or Surfer in general?
I can do that one.
All right. So we have two. All right. Judai and Atomist. What are you playing lately?
I'll play the discard.
All right. So we have a discard. Atomist, what have you been playing?
A lot of Surfer, Loki, and Bounce.
Surfer, Loki, and Bounce. Okay. Well, Surfer was taken. Do you want to do Loki?
I mean, I can do Thanos. I
You want to
think.
do Thanos? All right, let's do Thanos.
Yeah.
I'm also happy to take Loki if you want. So
Yeah, Loki's
I've
a
been
good one
bringing
to
him
do.
back.
'Cause- yeah, me too.
All right.
It'd be nice to do Loki. Yeah.
Well, we can do Loki afterwards. Like, let's see how it progresses. So, I'll give you my method of doing it. I'm not saying it's neither the best nor the necessarily the one you need to follow. I do believe everyone has a different way of thinking. So if that method fits you, take it. If you have another way to do it another way. So the way I usually try to understand the deck is first, I force myself to believe the data. Even if I don't necessarily agree with it, I accept it as like truth just for the purpose of the exercise. Because if I just take my own perspective, I'm just gonna think the decks I like are gonna be better than they really are, and the decks I dislike are gonna be worse, and it just doesn't work. So then, once I accepted the fact that maybe a deck I consider good is struggling or the opposite, the first thing I do is I try to understand its core concept. So, is it based around points? Is it based around disruption? Is it a mix? And I try to put cards in each category, like cards that are developing points, cards that are supposed to be because of an opponent, and inside those categories, then I make like support cards. I'm actually gonna do a mind map. Why not work? All right. So, right. So deck breakdown. First thing we want to know points and opponent based cards. Then there we want to know. I call them anchors. Let me know if there's a word that you don't.
And by anchors, you mean like lane anchors, like Angela or something that you can confidently start,
Yeah.
securing a lane with.
An anchor is a card that if I play it there, I expect it to contribute to winning the lane.
Gotcha. Yep.
All right, so these are the two categories that I look for. And then on the other side, because same cards, I look for 4 cards, flexible. And Africa. This one. All right. Are we good with this? Is all like does everything make sense? Do I need to explain any word? All right. Then whoever picked this card, let's do it. So how do we save?
And can you drop that? Can you drop that into the chat real quick? Thank you.
So, Judai, how do we
Yeah.
make this card a tier 1 deck again?
Well, I don't know if you can make it a tier 1 anymore with all the Zemo and Melee. I feel like they take away a lot of the cards that you really need.
So, to you, the problem is matchups.
Yeah, the matchups are difficult with this card right now.
Okay.
Even if you play on Discord against Hela, you might lose just because Hela puts up big points.
Ah. So matchups. So you said Zemo Mill. Said Ella. What other matchup is a problem? If there's more, like right now, I'm just writing what you're telling me.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think there's another one.
I see that I would have put above both.
Phoenix.
I don't know if Phoenix is a bad matchup because they should never take more than 2 cubes.
Okay.
Junk?
I mean, I'd like to think if you go Morbius into Dracula, they can send whatever they want there.
Negative.
Ooh.
Destroy?
I like to think Destroy is a really bad matchup for this card right now because there's Lady Deathstrike. Kills Dracula.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't run into her in Destroy, so.
Oh, well, you're
But
lucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's really popular. But I'm following what you're saying right now. So these are the two matchups.
Yeah.
Okay, so why are they a problem?
Zemo, they could just steal. They could steal APOC, or they could steal important cards you need that help you win.
They steal your anchors, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. How?
They could pretty much steal your Apocalypse or your.
Okay, but how do they do it? Do they like come to your house, knock, and just steal it?
No, they got Cable, they get Zemo.
And reveal cards.
Yeah, reveal cards.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm wondering if Cosmo can both protect against Deathstrike and Mill, just right there.
That was World War I.
I don't know, I'm just thinking.
Okay, is that the only problem with Zemo Mill, or do we have another one?
No, you can also put No, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so how could we fix this? How could we make this deck better against Cable, Zemo, these kind of decks?
Well, there's not really any, I guess, tech in this archetype. I guess you could remove Helicarrier for like a tech card.
Just Helicarrier? So you remove Helicarrier and you leave Collector?
I mean, with Collector, you could put him with Like your other cards,
Okay.
like just to boost your up points.
I'll just remove this. We have the picture. So, solution. Okay. What do we replace it with? What's our goal? What are we trying to do?
Hmm. Well, your goal is trying not like get everything milled, but I feel like it's gonna be inevitable.
It's gonna be what?
Inevitable, like your cards get from getting taken.
Okay. So you can't find something that we could replace Ellie Carrier with that would actually help. Well, it's sad, but maybe it's true.
Well, how do we stop on reveals?
I mean, if you had Cosmo in just one lane, they have other lanes to play in.
And also, if they go Cable on 2, Zemo on 3, the damage is done already.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's already too late to play Cosmo.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another card that we could... What can we use to stop on reveal? Oh,
We could. Mm.
or at least to protect ourselves from... Because Zemo takes the cheapest.
Yeah,
So, I mean, if they take Miek, we don't really care. If they take Blade, they could actually discard something.
But if we put in something like Martyr, so if they claim it, that will be difficult for them. But also, if they don't claim it, cool, you get to use it for points at the end.
Havoc is really good. I ran that in my deck.
Do you say Havoc?
Because you steal Havoc, then all of a sudden you burn up all your energy, right? When that hot location was in place, I went back to a Havoc deck that I was using and just shoved that across the board at
Oh.
everybody.
that's
Yeah,
actually
but
nice.
Because
Castle
sorry,
Zemo
go ahead.
isn't up anymore.
Yeah, I wonder if Maximus just as a funny like okay, so they play it, you get to draw 2 more of your cards, and now you're more likely to have more of your deck safe.
Well, you actually have to account what happens when you draw the card.
Yeah, and you feed them, but
Do we have anything that could help? Not really.
I don't think so.
Well, there's one thing that could help, but I'm not really sure. So, we're saying the problem is if they take our anchors, we can't play anymore. Right? That's the problem we established on Zemo.
It's up to you if you want to lose the cubes or not.
What? Sorry, what?
I mean, you can still play it. You can play it out if you want. Like, there's people that still
No, I mean,
call.
I'm not saying we shouldn't retreat. I'm saying the problem is if they steal our best cards, we can't play anymore.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
Right now, we're trying to solve a problem, so we're gonna assume we want to find a way to stay in the game. If we can't find a solution, obviously the solution will be lose a cube and move on, or just stop playing the deck altogether. But that solution is like the default. Is like this is what you get to when you can't find anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
we
like
could just
imagine
throw
you're
more.
calling someone, you say my house is on fire, and they just say, well, move out. Yeah, thank you, genius. I wasn't asking for that. I can find that on my own. They Our goal here is to try to be creative and come up with solutions, and then if these solutions suck, we just actually go to the solution everyone else was suggesting, which is, well, I'll just deal with it.
I mean, we could just put more discard in there because if I'm them, I don't want to be drawing discard cards.
Right.
Well, there's only Zemo in there, so you would need like cheap discard. So there's Blade. There are like better other discards that we can put in. We already have Colin. I mean, that is Swordmaster.
Yeah.
Moon Knight. And I mean, Zemo's very rarely gonna steal a 2-cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless like they use Yondu.
Well, they need to use a lot of Yondu because you still have half the deck that's a 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, like they can. I'm just saying, I'm not sure like it's reliable enough to capitalize on Zemo stealing a 3-cost because.
Oh, it's not just Zemo alone. They could also Gladiator. That's another issue.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Gladiator.
What about Moon Knight?
Well, the thing with that solution is that you need to we would need to math out the likeliness of them stealing it and it actually is bad for them against what we're talking about today, the cost of running a card you don't want in your deck in every other situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because like let's imagine, it's hopefully never gonna happen, but let's imagine the Zemo mill deck is 50% of the meta. So you have one of the two chances to go up against it. Then inside the game, they need to draw Zemo, which is about like 7 or 8 chances out of 12 because they're very rarely gonna play Zemo on turn 5 or 6. Then Moon Knight needs to be the lowest cost card in your deck. Like even if the deck was 50% of the meta, I doubt we get to more than 10% of Zemo gets Moon Knight.
Yeah.
But
I like what Bishop said with the Havoc.
With the Havoc. So we would run Havoc and discard for Zemo specifically.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Are we looking for a card, if it's really like 50%, are we looking for a card that's just a poison pill against Zemo? Or are we looking for something that we could potentially play ourselves? Because like just having Carnage in the deck, you don't really plan to play it. But it's always kind of funny when they drop that on their own Zemo.
That's the balance we need. That's exactly the cost of adapting your deck. How much worse are you making your deck to help that specific situation? We need to think about how often is it going to happen, how strong it is when it actually happens, etc., etc.
It's like you could just put in a Thanos, and then all of a sudden you got 6 more cards that they can mill, and then but then all you're doing is like diluting your discard deck.
Exactly. So a solution I could offer is actually the exact opposite of removing Helicarrier. It's actually capitalizing on Helicarrier. Because we said the problem is they steal your anchors.
Yes.
What if we created new ones? What if we played, where is it? Not a discard card, so it's not gonna work.
I like this.
What if we played this little guy? Because if they take it with Zemo, we don't care. They don't need it. But if they steal a Git cards and we discard Helicarrier, our whole hand is -1, and maybe we can play the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it solves the problem of I can't play with the cards in my deck anymore. At least Quinjet is like, well, play with other cards. They're cheap.
I'm gonna put Strong Guy in too and hope that they empty your hand, right?
Why? But we could play Strong Guy because if they empty your deck, you have more chances of actually ending up with an empty hand.
Triggering him. Yeah, triggering him.
That's actually a fun point.
Yeah, but that's one solution I could offer. What other solution could we think of? I don't know. Actually, not such an easy one to solve, indeed.
Well, but I mean, that's what I mean. There's where mill deck is, right? Mill deck is really good against combo heavy
Oh no,
decks, right?
there's
So
another one we
that's the
can
whole
do
point.
is switch the entire deck around. Keep the discard part, but like throw in a Loki or something like that.
Oh, and just quit. Yeah, play something different.
No, you just have a package which is Quinjet, Carrier, Collector, Loki. So yeah, when they're like, "Hey, your deck doesn't work," you're like, "Yeah, joke's on you. I didn't intend to play my deck." But once again, like maybe changing Mike for Quinjet isn't so bad. I'm not even sure. I don't know, but at least it's a one cost. When you draw it, you throw it. Yeah, I got 2 points. Now, if we're start talking about removing 2 cards, all right, what's the second card we cut? And this is
that gets hard.
exactly, and that's the problem when we talk about the cost of adapting our deck. We took this card first because it's a deck with a huge core, and the bigger the core of the deck is, the harder it is to move the deck. So unfortunately, the bigger the core, the more often the solution is gonna be, if your deck isn't good, you kind of have to play something else.
I mean, there's a couple of small packages in there. There's Dracula Apocalypse, there's Corvus and Proxima, but I don't want to necessarily touch those. If we lose Meek, then we're just giving them a chance to mill one of the more important anchors, maybe. I kind of feel like maybe Swarm, honestly. But then I'm not sure if we really need Collector. I don't know. I mean, we still use Collector just for Hellcarrier, so honestly, maybe Swarm.
Or
But the problem is
Colleen
Swarm
Wing.
is really, really good with Loki. Fills your hand.
It's true. It's true. That's the problem. This card Dracula has a lot of like 2 card combos in there, so you're gonna have to lose one of them. So I guess the
Yeah.
question is, how much are you afraid of Zemo versus how much do you like high points potential? Given that if you don't face Zemo, you're gonna face probably something else that's pushing for points right now. And so how much do you want to react to Zemo when retreating is like a one, like a 1 cube loss?
All right, so that was the first one. You said Ella is a problem. What was the problem with Ella?
Sorry. Well, I guess just points, like going against like bigger point wise.
Okay. Oh, how do they do it?
Discard as much as they can, and then revive them with Hela.
Okay. What could we do against it? Is there anything in our deck that we can do against it?
I mean, yeah, you could just stack up Morbius with Dracula and like just try to stack up 2 lanes as much as you can with points.
Okay, so right, we have other solutions.
Specifically against Hela?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, if you
I don't
can have
know.
a solution against both, I'll take it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking like if something like again a Moon Knight or a Silver Samurai, something that has a chance of discarding their Hela, that seems like a pretty effective.
Yeah, actually, I like the Silver Samurai.
Silver Summer is what? Lowest power?
Yeah.
Once they
Oh,
play
right. Yeah.
Corvus? Okay. Do we have other solutions to the Hela problem? Deck
I
builder.
mean, you could try and like, you can try and snipe it, right? Because I've seen a lot of people playing Hela now using Invisible Woman again. So you can go back to Cosmo Counter and try and drop it in the Invisible Woman lane.
Well, that's Hela Tribunal. That's not Hela. I mean, it's the same deck, but yeah, could do that. And actually, Silver Samurai works way less against the Tribunal deck because they usually have like Iron Man and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could be funny and play Gladiator. Like just
Add Baron Zemo.
say what again?
I think add Baron Zemo. They'll help. They'll discard.
I mean, if we're gonna play Gladiator, I think I'd rather play Spider Ham. At least it's a 1 cost.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
it's a good shot. And you have tons of energy, right? Probably. I mean, you could also go with like go Leech.
Well, Leech in discard deck. Do you really think Leech is gonna stay alive until turn 5 in that hand?
I mean, not like
Okay, so how does Hela beat it? Hela beats it by being able to drop many 6 costs and then bring them back, or so if it can pull off the Hela combo, it can just outpoint you.
what about Leader? What if you play Leader on sticks and like hit their Hela and then you pull, but you're discarding too. Pull back all of your cards as well.
The problem is Apocalypse and Swarm don't work with. Apocalypse doesn't work with Hela
Mm.
because it doesn't count as discarded because he comes back. Swarm works because it's copies, but Apocalypse doesn't come back. Proxima doesn't come back either. So you actually don't get that much. You could get Hela
Gotcha.
Carrier back. That's
Mm. Which would be Mobius and Collector. Not Mobius by much, by 1.
all right. But I guess we found some solutions for Ella, which were
Maybe we just say, I'm tired of playing against Hela and discard in general, and we just don't help them.
well. This was the example with a rigid deck. So
Yeah.
that was more difficult. But considering like everyone's kind of pitching ideas, we're gonna do it all together. Which one are we doing? Surfer or Thanos? These are 2 flexible decks.
Well, I guess Thanos. First, I mean,
But which deck are we trying to solve? Thanos or Surfer?
I could do Surfer.
okay.
Everyone good with Surfer?
Does Surfer have a problem?
Oh yeah. Oh, it has a lot of problems. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What is the problem with Silver Surfer?
Oh goodness. Okay. Where to start? So a lot of the junk right now and toxic decks are very common. So it is common for them to either have Luke or to fill your lane and block something like a Brood, or to since there's a lot of Annihilists out there, just okay, you curse everything with your Hazmat and then they just send it back to you.
Okay. We have one problem. We have another problem.
When I was playing that bounce deck, I mean, when I was playing that bounce deck through a big chunk of my climb, it was Iceman and Iceman and Spider Ham or Zemo. Just once I knew I had pinged one of their big power plays, I could if I could take out the Luke or steal the Luke, then I knew that Hazmat was I was going to win the Hazmat fight.
Okay, but you're not telling me a problem
Yeah.
of Surfer. You're telling me you've beating
So
it
the problem with
consistently.
Surfer is the problem with Surfer would still be like, right, loss of flexibility, right? So they preempt your Sarah, or they mill your cards. I guess it's the same.
Yeah.
Those are two.
Yeah, but that's
But there's more specific ones too. Like right now, if you look at the package, like let's look at Lady Deathstrike, right? It's going to eat Brood. You
it's
drop
true.
your Wong very happily, and it's going to eat Wong. If they have a Mobius, which is coming back, like there goes your Sarah. You're waiting there to, combo Hazmat Ironheart with either Absorbing Man or Odin. All of those can be eaten by Deathstrike.
really have a passion
Like that one
against
card.
Surfer.
Well, that's why I want to try to fix it, right? Because it's really suffering in like the last few days meta, and so that makes it more interesting to try to solve.
Well, there's one
Yeah.
big thing that Surfer, which is Thanos was its best matchup.
That's also true. Yeah, there aren't as many big lane fillers to compete against. So instead, now you're the big lane filler, and other decks are capitalizing on that.
Yeah.
Not only that, but let's add one more in. Magic right now would help Hela. Yeah, there's just a lot of ways in which this was really good for like 6 days, and it just got kind of decimated.
All right, so let's try to come up with solutions.
Well, here's where I'm going to be maybe a little bit bonkers. Going back to that idea of information asymmetry, Surfer is one of the really easily telegraphed decks. So what if we drop Sarah and put in Annihilus? So we're going to curse a bunch of our stuff and try to send it back.
Okay, but when do you curse them?
What do you mean?
Like, you need to be able to curse them and then send them over.
Yeah.
What's the timing to do?
Well, so I'm still thinking we keep. I'm sorry, what?
Well, I'm just saying you have to get cards below 0, right? That like you can't just get them. So Hazmat has to come down on, if you're going to put Annihilus on 5 or 6, Hazmat has to come down on 3, 4, with Absorbing Man following.
Well, yeah. So like you could imagine playing, I don't know, like a Hood on Hazmat on 3, Absorbing Man on 4.
Do you run Hope in this one?
Wait, a Hood Hazmat?
Well, he's asking like play lines, right? So I could imagine you play Hood and Hazmat on 3, and then on 4 you copy the Hazmat with Absorbing Man.
Okay,
But then the problem is you don't really have your like Brood down yet. So
and 5 is what? Annihilus?
I would save that if you want to get more of the cube surprise. Aim it more for 6. But
I mean, right now you're just sending them a -4 Hood.
yeah.
How do you win the game?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why Hope has to. If you play Hope on 3, right, and then Hazmat, and something else on 4, so that you can get Absorbing Man off on 5 with another, maybe 2. Can you get 2 3s off on 5, or a 4 and a 3 off on 5?
Okay, there's one thing I
And I
don't
really-
understand. We established that one of the problems was fewer decks are vulnerable to Hazmat. Why is the first solution to try to work around Hazmat even more, and not the first solution is cut Hazmat.
Full hazmat. Yeah. Go just get rid of them.
Well,
Go
so
back
what I
to
was thinking is if we can use hazmat in an unexpected way and we're trying to manage information asymmetry and snaps, they see you playing like a week old deck, they think they've got an obvious counter to it, they snap, you stay in and surprise them with how you're using the deck.
All right, but isn't it already surprising enough that we're playing something else than that? Can't the surprise be that other card that would be more suited to the metagame instead of a wacky way of playing Hazmat?
And certainly, yeah.
I don't know, because the thing is, you say fewer decks are vulnerable to Hazmat, so I'm going to push the Hazmat cursor even more. But if they're vulnerable to it, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not vulnerable to it because they might be running a Luke, for example, but like, how does sending your curse cards over, how does Luke prevent that, right?
It doesn't prevent from sending, but it gives them their power back.
Oh, wait, no, that's right. Shoot.
Or Shadow King.
No, that's a good point. They pop over and then, yeah.
So then the question is, do you just maximize your surfer, right? Do you do giant, bigger I mean, I guess the question is, what are you losing to? If you're losing to junk, they're playing a lot of small stuff that comes up the lane. So you just need a couple of big cards, right? You need to go higher with the threes than
okay.
So you need more like you need Sebastian Shaw, you need Gladiator, and you just go bigger in one lane because you can deal with the junk in the way.
Or you use a forge to make your brood larger so it survives. Death strike. So we either way we end up with just like more of a classic surfer again.
Or you play maybe even you can do the debris bird package kind of thing where you try and you get a bird on the you have a nice 1/9 drop or something like that, or 2/9 drop.
Debris and Mockingbird is a good combo.
Really weird direction.
Was that
like you're exploring really weird directions? Like there's much simpler ways, like simpler things to do first. Like right now we said problem is fewer decks are vulnerable to Hazmat. Can't we just find a replacement for Hazmat and Luke Cage instead of trying to create a brand new deck? Like, aren't there other unreveals that we could abuse?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I'm saying, like Gladiator is a good choice.
That's not an unreveal you abuse, like, because Hazmat also makes Odin relevant. It also makes Wong relevant. It also makes copying Wong with Mystique, etc., etc. Like, the entire deck is based around the unrevealed synergy. If you remove one of the pieces of that unrevealed synergy, either you can replace it, or the entire deck might break down because you have less reliability.
Well, so we could... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just here,
Isn't that the point of the Surfer, though? Surfer is like... The Surfer shell is so... it's... The Surfer shell is so specific, and I mean, it's only it's like 4 or 5 cards, right? It's it's Surfer, Brood, Absorbing Man, maybe, and Sebastian Shaw, and maybe Sarah plus or minus, depending on how you go.
I
and then
haven't played Sarah in a month.
But I mean, but after that you have Hope, right? You generate flexibility on 6. But then again, after that, you can drop Odin, you can drop Ironheart, Hazmat Cage, you can go along, you can go back to a more, I wouldn't say traditional Surfer deck, but a more primary Surfer deck.
Why is that the first solution you offer? Like, because in the problem, I only see 1 card listed. In the solution, you want to change 9 cards.
Gotcha. I was trying to fix the deck in general, but okay.
What I mean is, let's try, because there's a difference between fixing the problem and fixing the entire deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the same thing as, like, if we go back to my house is on fire, your first reflex is call the firemen, not call the neighbor, because maybe in a few hours your house is going to be on fire as well. No, let's try to stop my fire instead of telling everyone else.
And in this
So do you
case,
pull
switching to a new deck is like, let's buy a new house as the solution.
Exactly.
Yeah. So do you pull Hazmat and Luke Cage or just even or whatever and put in like what's the wolf? Oh my god, I can't think of her name right now.
Wolfbane?
Yeah, that's the
Wolfbane,
thing.
which
Like,
still takes advantage of your long
well, there are a couple things that we need to explore. First, do we keep the deck this way? So let's try to see if we can keep it this way, because otherwise we would touch reliability a lot.
Well, and this is why I started with trying to find new ways to use Hazmat. It's like keeping the idea alive of it, right?
Yes, but finding new ways to use Azmat doesn't solve the problem that fewer decks are vulnerable to. Like,
It's
go ahead.
I want to say it's easy just bring Rogue and steal their Luke Cage, so actually make Hazmat actually useful.
That's, for example, if the problem was many people are running Luke Cage, well, run Rogue. That's a possibility. That's an easier solution. I don't know if it's the right one, but at least that's more like to the point.
right, it's one card switch. I mean, if they're playing less cards that are valuable to Hazmat, then the other thing you could do is you could go to the you could switch into the
what are some unreveals that we could use?
I mean, we could drop the toxic package, and I don't know, use the Wong combo.
Hazmat Luke Cage right now.
So we could drop that and go with Gambit instead. Like, try to. They think you're playing one card, and you're actually doing something else.
Well, especially if they're going high with red. If they're going high with like a red Hulk, and they have one lane counter win to red Hulk, then Gambit hits one or two cards, and it's game over.
What do we play with Gambit? Like, do we play Swarm or something like that? Because Gambit doesn't work if you don't have cards in hand anymore.
You have to feed it.
Like, do we just run Gambit and hope we have enough cards by the end of the game in hand, or do we run a support?
Yeah. No, I'm just looking over the deck list. Sorry. Or the card list. What else? What else could like benefit from being discarded?
But usually it's just Swarm because it keeps coming back, so you're never running out of cards for Gambit.
I mean, you could add the 4/7, right? That comes to the board.
Proxima?
Yeah, I mean, if you choose never, if you choose never to play her, if you just have her in your hand, then then you Gambit at the end, and she's just this giant 4/7 that hits the board too. If you still have her in.
I feel like 5 or 6 months ago, Lambie was playing a what was it, Black Cat Surfer, and now I'm imagining Black Cat and Proxima, but like, look, we're into a very different deck again. But like,
and Black Cat wants to discard herself.
Yeah, that's right.
Black Cat is not gonna wait in your hand and be like, "Oh, Gambit, discard me." She's gonna be like, "Hey, I'm gone."
That's right. I don't know.
And the other thing
throw
is,
an X-23 or something instead of.
Let's say in this list I remove Azmat and I run Gambit. Does that mean I run 0/2 cost? Like, am I okay passing 1 and 2 every single game?
Oof.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. In the information asymmetry, maybe.
I don't know. Like, okay, let's imagine. So it's turn 1 and 2 I pass. My opponent plays. They snap because they think I have nothing to do. Am I staying in every game? Because that's normal. That's like an expected outcome of not playing first 2 turns.
Maybe. Can we assume they're going to snap because everybody's very uncertain in the current meta?
Well, I mean, but how is that much different than what you're playing right now, right? In the current list, you're not going to play Hazmat on 2, and you're not playing any 2-drops anyways. So you're going to hang out until 3 anyways. So I don't know if you're... I don't think you're...
A lot of the times you play Azmat if you have Odin, because you re-trigger it.
Right, on 2, okay. But you're still sitting there, like, with very few... I mean, I don't know, you have some cards in your hand, but...
Yeah, I'm not...
I think on Surfer, a lot of times I was waiting till 3 anyways. I mean, you could take out... And I guess the question is, what are you facing that you were losing to? Like, if there's a card that's better to counter Hazmat with? I mean, you remove Hazmat, but you use a counter at the top end, like whether it's Shang-Chi or whether it's Shadow King or something like that, so you don't have to. You can play it a little earlier if you want.
I don't know. That's why I'm scrolling through cards trying to find stuff. Like, for example, Forge is really good. Like, it's good on turn 2 and it's synergized with Wong. Like, I mean, you play Wong on 4, you can turn 5 Forge Brood and you have 18. You can, like, Mystique Forge and then next turn you go Brood Surfer.
Yeah, and if if we're stepping away from the Surfer, which decks prey on Surfer to just what is the meta right now, again, it's high points potential. So sure, Forge, just drop the toxic component and focus more on just absurd
What
climbs
about
of
if you
points.
want? Can you go back to the list real quick? How about Bast?
Bast?
I guess I was looking at what you hit. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 7 cards in there that Bast will connect with, right? 1, 2,
Okay, but
3,
does
4,
that
5.
win you games?
5 cards, 6 cards.
Does that help you win games? Because, like, right now I feel like we're just throwing ideas. The goal is to find a mix of something that is worth doing, that's not gonna, like, cost your deck too much, and at the same time, which is going to fix your problem.
Well, you could go with Nakia or Nakia packet, Nakia true, right? She said, which one's a 2? Okoye and Nakia. Can I remember which one?
Okoye is the 2, Nikia is the 3.
Yeah. So you could go, Okoye and 2 and boost your stuff that way.
Okay, but that doesn't.
If we're worried about the specific problems like armor, armor can protect you against Death Strike killing your Wong, and unlike say something like Cosmo, it's not going to interfere with getting the Wong combos off. So like we could just see like what happens with like I don't know an armor in there.
Yeah, but what do you cut for it? Because the game won't let me play 13 cards.
Honestly, I would drop Sarah just for its own sake.
Okay, so no more Azmat Odin together.
I mean, you still have magic, like.
Yeah, but I still can't do them on turn 7. They cost 8.
Yeah, no, in this version you'd have to have played Hazmat earlier, probably on like a Wong lane or something.
Okay, so no more unpredictability.
I mean, so we're trying to figure out how to solve the problems, right? Every solution will have its own cost. That's like what you started with as the mind map.
Yep.
So, does it mean it's the optimal fix? Like, no, we just have to figure out how much do we want to lose? How much are we willing to lose unpredictability?
Well, honestly, if we're gonna say let's just go for maximum points, could we drop Azmat Cage and just run Armor Forge? Like,
I would be a
honestly, it wouldn't
bit
be
nervous.
So...
Oh, sorry.
No, it wouldn't be so bad to retrigger Forge with Odin.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a turn 5, because this deck sucks on turn 5. Well, you have Sarah, but that's the only thing. Like, if you don't draw
and
into
we really
Sarah,
lose.
turn 5 is just...
That's right. I'm fine with dropping Hazmat. Are we sure we want to drop? Let's see, how much Shadow King are we seeing right now?
Just lose priority.
It's not that much. Yeah. Okay.
How do you wait? What's the play for Odin on Forge? Forge hits the next card drop, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do you? So Odin comes down on 5. Oh, you got magic. I'm sorry. Oh, geez. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't offer it if magic wasn't in the deck.
If we drop Hazmat Cage, we could do armor and Cosmo. Cosmo can be protecting a Brood lane, maybe.
Yeah, and
then something else. Armor's protecting.
I actually got demolished today by a deck that went Cosmo Mystique on 2 lanes, and he countered my Annihilus, and it cost me 8 cubes. I wanted to cry.
All right, well, this will be cathartic. Let's do armor and Cosmo.
All right. So
Cosmo's also nice because it'll protect Sebastian Shaw from a Shang, right? A lot of Shang out there right now.
Because we have discussed a lot, and we went in a lot of directions. Who wants to try those? Who wants to try the Discord? Who wants to try the Surfer? or who wants to try another deck, but they have to take the deck and do the whole exercise so they are allowed to play it.
I mean, I'm happy to play the Surfer, but like somebody else can also speak up. Or
Atomist, because you're the one that's not always with us. Do you want to play any of the 2 decks or another deck?
Sure, I can do Surfer.
Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with some Surfer. So do you have the updated list that we want to try today?
Yeah, the armor and
Yep.
Cosmo.
Either Armor Cosmo or Armor Forge, depending on if you want to go disruptions or if you want to go more points. And we discussed these 2, but I don't know if there's another thing that was discussing or other unrevealed.
what did we end up with for the discard list?
Not much. Offered the possibility of playing Quinjet instead of Miek, so if they kill our deck, we can try to discard Alley Carrier and get a new one.
Oh, and there's also Loki, right? But what were we dropping
And
for that one?
possibly Lucky. Otherwise, the conclusion was this card is very rigid. It's annoying to try and deck build with it. But I mean, you just change the entire core. When we're talking about discard, you could switch to Ella. You could play Loki discard. You could play. Oh, we discussed Moon Knight. Just possibly playing Moon Knight for Ella, like Moon Knight Silver Samurai. So maybe discard can go back to like its old tricks where we were playing like Wong. You go Wong into like double Moon Knight or double Samurai and just pop Ella. All right, Atomist, whenever you're ready, feel free to share your screen.
Yep. Oh.
Build the lists.
I dropped a version of that one in the coaching chat as well.
Yeah, I know, but I'll make it so if anyone asks, I'll have the code, and I always have to write a little article about the session. There's a card that we haven't discussed. Actually, we said we wanted to improve the points reliability of. Iron Lad could have a word in that.
Oh.
You ready, Atomist?
Just building the deck. Is that the deck?
And how do you approach it? How do you approach figuring out what your problem is? Like, I mean, how do you, sometimes it's hard to tell, like, am I getting beaten by, like, if I can tell I'm being beaten by, say, a certain type of deck, but the question is always like, am I being beaten by points or am I being by disruption? Sometimes it's hard to tell, or it's hard to determine where to start asking that question.
You go back to. There's- Go back to this. I don't know if my
Ready to drop the stream.
I usually go back to the deck breakdown and I try to look at all the categories and I try to like look at the games and
Okay.
see where it went wrong. Like first thing I look at is did I draw what I would have liked to? Because sometimes you just have a run of bad luck and it happens. But if you're like, I actually drew what I wanted to draw and I lost, that's probably because the problem comes from the core. If you're losing always to the same matchups, that's probably because they're beating you at something specific. For example, if I was constantly losing to Hela, it's either because I'm not able to stop it, so I would look at my opponent-based cards, or because I'm just trying to face them point-wise and I can't match them. Basically, I look for patterns. Like, so either drawing patterns, either matchup patterns, and the last one is while watching replays, can some of my choices change the outcome of the game? And if that happens, I do my best not to change the deck and go back to the drawing board, and maybe it was my fault and not the deck's fault. And that one hurts.
Gotcha.
We can see your screen, Atomist, whenever you're ready. It feels a little laggy. I don't know if it's laggy for everyone else, but
That's
oh yeah, we jumped straight from collection to the in-game.
I'm frozen on the matching screen.
Yeah, same.
Me too.
Oh wait, there we are.
Oh wait, armor is there already.
Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of lag.
All right, Atomist, you gotta talk to us. You gotta let us know what's going through your mind and what you're thinking of doing.
Yeah.
hey, question. Really
You're super laggy. All right, just play it. I'll what can we do? We could just play the deck on my account, and I'll be your hand, and you can make all the decisions. Right?
yeah,
Feel
that
free your
works.
game. Oh, we have an opponent that's not playing. That's very convenient.
Strategically draw them as often as you can.
Exactly.
Play Ironheart onto the play Ironheart onto that Hala and get it back on 5. That's pretty good. Oh, never mind, there's Limbo.
Yeah, it's extremely laggy. It's almost impossible. And I don't even know if you're talking because it makes your voice lag as well. Oh wait, actually, yeah. Why are we running armor again? For Lady Deathstrike?
Yeah, to
Yes.
protect the Wong.
Okay. Because we already have Cosmo, but we can't really use it on the lane, I'll try Forge just for the sake of it and see what happens if we pull out points. Alright. Is the game over, Atomist? Or because you can. Oh,
Nope.
oh, he's back.
Nope. Everyone's gone.
Okay. I think my stream's like out.
No worries. I'll share my screen and you can talk and I'll do the I'll do the moving and you can be the pilot.
For sure.
Alright, so the only difference is we have Forge just to see what happens if we go 100% points. Oh, Maryland. Alright. What do I do on turn 1? I have so many options. I can pass here, I can pass here, I can pass here. Ooh! Ooh!
Jeez.
Alright.
It's like,
I'll okay.
Well, they snapped
Yeah.
Elysium, so I know what I want to do, but what's your idea?
Like Elysium.
So Magic Elysium?
Yeah.
Alright. Righto, alright.
wah, wah.
Oh, they're playing Ravona. Ravona.
Wow.
Goblin, Junk,
Yep.
Mr. Negative. Those two, I think.
Alright. Do I want to do something?
Galactus prediction on one. I'm just Galactus anyway.
Probably skip, I think.
Okay.
There it is.
I
On the map, too.
misplayed. Get Mobius in my surfer. Alright, what now?
Probably one left.
Right.
Love it.
Now what?
Oh,
I guess Mystique. Then Forge. Forge left, yeah.
Forge here or somewhere else?
Forge mid,
Forge mid?
yeah.
Why mid and not behind Wong and crap?
jeez.
Oh.
Okay, I
Not
think
now.
we're gonna go. That's not that's not doing good.
You got
Oh,
this. Come on.
we kept Sarah in this version of the deck?
Yes, Sarah is
Yeah.
right there.
Oh, yeah, huh.
Oh, we got a huge brood.
Oh.
Not really huge, but we have a brood. Okay, do we want to stay and go like Brood Ironheart? We have Odin. I don't know if it's good enough, but
I guess maybe Brood right and Ironheart left.
I mean, we still have a turn. I mean, if we have priority, there's a card called Cosmos somewhere in the deck.
Yeah, we hit the one opponent where the Toxic would have really been nice.
Oh, they're not even waiting.
Oh.
For it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna Odin Zola. What, we're not
Yeah.
gonna... Oh, wait. Do we have a shot priority? We're not gonna Odin. Ironheart just loves Brood.
I could very easily see them odining that. Why wouldn't they?
Because it's a negative deck. You play Odin in there?
I don't think they play Odin.
Okay,
But,
do we stay or do we
uh,
play it? Do we play it or do we leave?
Now we leave. I don't see the point we are winning.
My
Like
cubes
two
are
lanes.
thanking you. Alright.
Hmm.
The thing is, we didn't have such bad outs, but we didn't get Surfer. There's some of them we didn't get. But at least we know the full-on, like, points were not good against certain decks. Like, it doesn't make us the biggest points potential in the game. We still have to respect a few people. Unfortunately. Alright, Gallic. Right? Where do I pass? Do I pass left, pass middle, pass right?
And turn.
Alright.
I had a bug the other day where my end game button wouldn't work. My end turn button
A
wouldn't
lot
work,
of
and it
people
just
had
kept.
that. I actually played against
Oh.
Jedi and they retreated on turn 2. It was like, what the fuck? And they were like, I couldn't pass turn and I just didn't want to drag the game for no reason. Alright.
Yeah,
Oh,
Am I playing Forge or
I
are we
won it.
keeping it?
I won one because of that.
I guess maybe Forge, yeah.
Okay, what are we forging next turn? Because I don't have any.
Forge mid.
Okay, but why are we forging? Like, what is my next turn play that I want to? Because to be honest, I
guess
kind of
just-
want to go Wong into Mystic Forge off something.
Oh.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm still attached to that 18 power brood.
Okay. Best.
I had that bug a week ago, and it was a conquest match. It was brutal.
Yeah, I had that.
Alright.
I was in Conquest.
So I think we won mid.
Mid?
Oh, left. Oh no, right.
Okay, you said
Wong.
all 3 locations, so let's take a second. And where do I play Wong?
One right.
Okay, why?
Because the right one is most the stable one.
Okay, because it's safe. Agreed.
Mhm.
Okay, it's bounce. Do we think bounce has like annoying cards for us? Can we actually enter a points count?
Let's find out.
Valkyrie. We don't care
Oh.
much about it. Just need to lose priority. Alright, what am I doing?
Mystic mid.
Mid?
Yeah.
Okay, why do we split them?
I'm thinking they probably want to do like a Valkyrie Grandmaster thing, maybe. I don't know. It could be.
Well, don't I
So
want them
wanna.
together then? Because I mean they're negative power. I don't really care.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah,
as long
maybe,
as I
yeah.
don't have priority, I don't care. And Mystique is not really taking priority. Okay,
Oh.
sounds like points. Oh my god, I could have tied left. What a battle! Mystique against Mysterio and Hela. What a battle!
So that's interesting that they played Mysterio there. Can we assume they don't have their monkey, or they're really relying a lot on their Valkyrie play?
What am I doing here?
I didn't run the monkey in the last version I ran, but
Maybe Mystic mid and Forge right?
Mystique is already here.
Oh no, Magic mid. My bad.
Okay. You want to forge right?
Yeah.
I mean, I only have 2 spots. You don't want to give them to like Surfer and Odin or like Ironheart and Surfer?
except for yeah.
Maybe Forge left.
I don't want priority because if I have priority, then
Oh.
they can Valkyrie my Surfer stuff. I think we have to play them together.
Okay, then Forge mid. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right,
Uh-huh.
all right, that's really good. They literally told me this lane is safe. Oh boy.
Oh.
What do we do? Or from being
Oh.
super excited.
Brood left and Cosmo.
Cosmo.
Mhm.
Without priority?
I mean, we have Cosmo. We don't need to worry about Valkyrie.
Ooh, Valkyrie right, and then finish with Brood Ironheart.
Valkyrie. Weeb Valkyrie, right?
No.
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
you know how Iron Man works?
No, Valkyrie
Yeah,
right
that's the
increase
thing,
their power.
right, but could you double Iron? Can you double Ironheart that and overpower that?
I already beat
Is there
18 super
24?
easily.
Okay.
Okay, we said Cosmo. Let's go. I would have Cosmo next turn because I think we're gonna gain priority. Ooh,
Ooh.
that's good. It's 0. You can Valkyrie that. By the way, I'm not asking, but if you want me to snap, let me.
That's the way of asking.
I think it's the upper price now, especially with Shaw.
All right,
Where's Shaw?
what am I doing now? I know what I would do. What's your idea?
Shao mid and Surfer.
About the Shaw right and Surfer right.
Oh yeah, shower rights.
I kind of want to do this.
That would work too,
Why
yeah.
do we need Shaw? This is like 24 power? Triggers 4 times?
But we
And
have
Shaw Metal,
priority.
like Shaw Metal, it's the only lane they can Valkyrie on.
Oh
It's,
yeah.
it's a super big risk. Well, I know I win this one. And Ironheart is gonna get like +8 from Servo Surfer.
That's right.
Alright, let's see what happens. Like this is +4 every single time. So I'm kind of confident we're gonna beat 18. Just with Surfer. Maybe it's not enough, but we'll Nico. Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Alright, we timed that good. Whirl. Clasp. Oh, tied. We win the tie because 7 is a lot. Alright, maybe Shaw Right was needed. But yeah, I really disliked Shaw Metal because consistency.
yeah.
We've been playing
I forgot
around
we have
Valkyrie all
priorities.
game long, and then we're like, yeah, let's Shaw.
Yeah. No, yeah, Shaw Surfer right is guaranteed that. I think. And there was almost no way we'd lose left, I thought. So
Yeah, you're right. I'll admit I forgot about Mysterio potentially adding 8 to the right. Alright, let's see if we're gonna win or lose cubes this session, because right now we went -2/+2. But Cosmo did win us a game. Good Cosmo. And so far there has been very little difference from 4. Gym Enjoyer. Ooh. I recognize a mid-range curve.
Is he playing on a treadmill right now?
No, he's not. He doesn't have a title. He doesn't have time. He has to get his sets.
I used to play Hearthstone on a treadmill.
Alright, what am I doing?
Forge right?
Wait, right. What's the logic?
Oh, I don't see as long as don't think we're forging left, I think it's fine.
As long as we are not forging left?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because we don't want the rock.
I'll forge
thinking
right,
like
but I don't see the logic of we don't want the rock. Like, if we put points on there, we won't get it.
Yeah, so you can't play you can't play easily into undisclosed locations. So right is kind of good for you.
Okay, what do I play in where?
Brood left.
So this is why you didn't want to play Forge, so we were not clogged.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know, if we have Forge plus Brood, the location is full and we can't get the rock.
but then we can't do Cosmo or any.
Yeah, there's 0 flexibility.
Okay, like that. That's a reason I can get behind. Guess they never played against Surfer. Don't play Hope Summers on this location. You crazy?
Nope.
That's pretty fun.
You crazy?
Why don't you play it on the Blackstone? You played on Blackstone. Just soak it up.
I didn't know.
Oh,
All right.
oh, there's a very nice thing here.
What am I doing?
Sarah right.
You want to risk it, Meadow? Oh.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Okay.
Shit, this is so easy.
Are we snapping at any point or?
Okay, what am I doing now?
Probably Sean Surfer, right?
Shaw and Surfer? Why Surfer? Why aren't we playing like Ironheart and keep Surfer for later?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, it's a question. Like, don't think I'm necessarily right. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah,
double Sarah, you can play everything next turn.
Mystique and Shaw on the right? Yeah, right.
Want to do
Yeah,
this?
Misty.
No, I'm just.
1, 2, 1
That-
more. Then I would also do
And then
this.
you still have an Odin in your deck too, right?
Yeah, that's why I would do this. In
Yeah.
case, because if I draw
Yeah.
Odin, then I can do. Well,
You can just devastate. The only down thing is Shaw becomes destroyable, right?
the thing I don't like about playing Mystique, but I guess it's just luck. It's if we drew Wong, we could have gone like Wong Surfer.
Yeah. How many cards do you have left? 4?
One more turn.
Oh yeah. So there you go. So it didn't matter. So
All right, where am I playing? What am I doing? Who am I? My mom.
Like magic left, then surfer absorbing.
Do you mind if I do this? Because there's a card called Alioth, and I really don't want my 2 cards to be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't change much, just in case.
well,
Okay, that's really bad. You had prayer,
Nice.
bud. Oh my god. Why are we not snapping?
Well,
you're
to be fair, he enjoys the gym, not necessarily Marvel Snap.
good.
Maybe he was
We got
actually tired
right.
with all that treadmill.
That's right.
Jeez. Okay.
Oh, that's a big Red Hulk.
Huh.
If only he played it.
The fact that we
Where's
tied
last
the
one?
middle is a little sad.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Bunch of
Well,
priority
we proved that Surfer's like an amazing deck. You can't beat it. There you go.
And we lost to Mr. Negative. All right, let's do a last one and we'll close it on this. And Atomist, try to
Mhm.
like don't think when I'm asking question it's against you. It's actually I'm just trying to get the most I can out of you. I'm trying to understand
Okay.
your thinking process.
Sure.
It's also he's against you too.
Yeah, but that counts as a second. Like it's a bonus. It's not the full experience. Right?
Poor Hood.
Listen, we can do.
Ooh.
Ooh,
I've
damn.
been seeing a lot of negative like oh, what are we doing?
Thinking Sean left.
Left? Why left?
No.
Wait,
What?
let the man talk. Why left?
Okay. Let the man talk.
Why don't Silverman?
Because they could be. I think I see the like the idea they're kind of fighting for the left, so I want to anchor on the left.
Okay. Well, there's no more time, but I really want to play it here because I want as many straws as I can.
Okay.
Like I don't necessarily need to have like 5 of them. But
Yeah.
Well, that's really good.
That's my call. Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna double Cosmo though, right?
what do you mean he's gonna double Cosmodo, right?
No,
Can only
I mean
lock
he's
one more
cloning
lane.
Vats. Well, he's double, but he's cloning Vats. He's been cloning Vats one of them. So, I mean, so he's gonna double Cosmo something. So 2 lanes are gonna be closed.
I only need 1. That's fine.
I know.
Alright, what are we doing now?
Maybe Sean left.
Alright. Now I'm fine with it because well I can't play Surfer anymore. Bummer. Oh, okay, he just wants
What? Oh, points. Oh, okay.
I mean loves
Interesting.
points. I get it. I love points too.
Ooh.
Thinking maybe Sarah left.
I kinda want a Sarah medal if I'm gonna Sarah. So I force
Yeah.
them to if they're gonna Professor X, I force them to X right, which I'm not gonna win any.
That's true.
And also it gives me a better chance at priority, which I think I'm gonna need because they have a Cosmo in there.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Galactus.
Maybe. If Galactus was a
No,
turn
it's on
5.
five.
Ooh, what are we doing? Do I stay? Do
Run.
I leave?
Run.
Run? Okay.
Yeah.
Why? I'll run because I don't want to lose my cube, but why?
Because they know what we are playing. They definitely knows how to win it, so they snap it.
So every time someone has a Daredevil and they snap, you leave?
Kinda.
Okay? Because Daredevil is a
Yeah,
really, really good card.
Because they kind of see the like how they gonna win in turn 6. So I guess in the most of the case, I just if there are not enough points for me on my side, I don't think we are winning. So I'm just.
I mean,
gonna
I'm
leave.
not against running because we didn't have like the hottest start and they were holding a Cosmo, which, like it was a 50-50 weight anyway. I'm not against it. But like it's always based on a situation. It's not just, well, they snapped and they know what I'm gonna do, because otherwise that means you have a 0% win rate against Daredevil. That's sad. Like it's always about the situation. Alright, the last one. Would love to use Cosmo. We haven't. Oh no, we used it. He actually won us the game
Used
against
it once. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Used it once.
Oh yeah.
My bad. The Dogo brought home 2.
Well,
Yeah.
we can save you a game in this game.
No, it was a good play from Edimus there. Yeah.
Alright. I really want 2/2 costs. Maybe we should run a Koya as well. Oh. Alright.
Ooh.
What are we doing?
Oh, I mean that's easy enough.
Magic. Right.
So we rather open this. Oh, okay. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
So let's discuss it a little bit. So you would rather change Space Throne rather than Rickety Bridge?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
I think Ricky Bridge don't really give much flexibility. So if they always can we always can manage it as a 0/0.
Okay.
If we really want to build something like a Wong Mystique, like get rid of the Space Storm, it's much better.
Alright.
I mean, you could take out both, right? You could Magic then Absorbing Man and take out both.
That's an idea. Like, honestly, it's more based on the hand. I want to remove Space Throne because I need space. I have Brood, I have Absorbing Man, I want to go wide. If I had Shaw in my hand, I think I would have removed Rickety Bridge because I'm like, Shaw can win this. So once again, always about the situation. All
Would
right.
you have Cosmo left?
When? Now?
No, I mean in general. I mean, like, because you know, I don't know what they're running. Right? We don't know what they're running. But I'm saying is, would you have found benefit in Cosmoing to protect the tens, and then just going
Yeah,
above?
we're not running Shang-Chi, so it doesn't hurt us, and it's a lane that is already like kind of clogged. The question was more like about the timing.
Right.
Because the problem is the other 2 lanes were difficult to leverage already. So if I Cosmo the 3rd lane, which was the only one where I could play safely, I really need to think about like what the hell am I doing with the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe. Like if we Magic, we could have followed up with like Cosmo.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we didn't have that much time for gameplay because we had a lot to discuss today. But thanks for joining. Do we have last minute questions?
Oh, I would love to have more tips on Conquest because that's something I'm really struggling right now.
Sure. Well, usually we have a coaching session dedicated to Conquest before the Infinity League opens.
Okay.
But we could, like, if you have specific questions on Conquest, I actually wrote the Conquest tier list today. So it's going to be published tomorrow. Just once you read it, like, feel free to ask any question.
Sure.
Alrighto. Well, on this note, I will cut the video. Thanks you for joining us. As always, see you next time.